This doesn't light your firemen, the pilot lights out.
This football team is coming into our place. We're standing in our way.
This is a game of the heart. Focus and finish.
Giants running back Andre Brown suffered a fractured left leg in the Giants' preseason finale Thursday night, and in doing so, catapulted David Wilson's fantasy value into the stratosphere. Wilson now opens the season as a true every-down running back without the threat of losing time in short yardage and goal line and passing situations. Now, while Wilson owners should be ecstatic, Eli Manning owners may not be the happiest kids in the duck-duck-goose circle. Wilson has a lot of work to do before he becomes adequate in pass protection, and that's not good for Manning in the Giants' passing game. As for Brown, he's likely to miss a good chunk of the first half of the season. Well, it was the final preseason game for the Raiders last night and Terrelle Pryor's job to lose. It didn't look so good. He did fine if he was auditioning for a running back. He rushed for 48 yards. But Pryor completed just 3 of 8 passes for 31 yards and a pick. And by all accounts, he appeared to be jumping on nearly every throw, and frankly, he looked a bit like Tim Tebow. Now, at this point, some are opining that the Raiders should just rotate Pryor and Matt Flynn each series in the opener because both players are too easy to game plan for on their own. So it's not looking good in Oakland either for the team or the quarterback position from a fantasy standpoint. I still maintain that Pryor has some fantasy value because of his ability to threaten a line of scrimmage or run, but he's clearly still a work in progress. So now that the preseason games are over, are we any closer to knowing when Rob Gronkowski will be back? Well, the Pats are expected to take Gronk off the PUP list on Saturday, meaning not only will he have been cleared to practice, but he won't be forced to miss the first 6 games. So at this point, all signs point towards Gronkowski missing no more than 4 or 5 games tops. There's a possibility of him returning after just 2 or 3. In summary, if you haven't had your draft yet, move him up on your draft boards just a wee bit. Here's something interesting for Jamal Charles owners. The Kansas City Star sets the over-under for his touches this season at 280. Now think about it. If he's healthy, he shouldn't have any problem surpassing that total. He touched the ball 320 times last season, and if anything, you would expect that with Andy Reid calling the plays, he's going to get the ball more, not less. LaShawn McCoy touched the ball 254 times in just 12 games under Reid in 2012. So if you extrapolate that over 16 games, that amounts to 338 touches, making Charles very productive and his owners very happy. And 2 points for me for using the word extrapolate in fantasy football sentence. If you've been listening to local radio in Atlanta, rumors have been swirling that Roddy White's ankle sprain was the dreaded high ankle sprain and a cause for major concern. Don't listen to rumors. It's not the case. White will in fact be ready to go and healthy for week 1. Listen, it's worth mentioning again what we said earlier in the week on this topic. White will have had 24 days to rest since the injury when game 1 kicks off, and he's never missed a game in his career. He's not missing this one either. I've maintained all summer that Jeremy Kerley represents the only Jets player with upside in terms of fantasy value this season. Here's the problem. Yesterday he stated that his goal was to catch 60 passes on the season. Nothing like increasing your goals by 4 catches. Last year Kerley caught 56 passes for 827 yards and 2 TDs. Hey, at least he was honest, right? After looking at who the candidates are to throw him the ball, it is what it is. With Santonio Holmes' status still a huge unknown and Stephen Hill showing no evidence of becoming a huge factor, I suspect Kerley will surpass 60 catches pretty easily, but if he's one of your starting wideouts, you may be in trouble. And finally, a general football note. My kids play youth football, as many of yours do, and it's worth noting that enrollment across the nation is down considerably this season, primarily because of concern over concussions, and rightly so. And yesterday, a federal judge said that the NFL and more than 4,500 former players will settle their concussion-related lawsuit for $765 million. Sounds like a lot. It's not. As a result of the settlement, the NFL avoids letting the public know exactly how guilty they really were with regard to the merits of the suit. The money will be used for medical benefits, retired players' injury compensation, and more medical research. Now, it's a monumental moment for the league that only recently began taking their players' safety seriously. Although the NFL got off relatively cheap, at this point, you have to believe that football players will be better protected going forward on all levels of the game. For Roto Experts, I'm Mike Cardano. Happy Friday, everyone. Enjoy the college football. See you next week.